Next, we have Jerry Ingram Jr. Unmute yourself, please. We're coming to you.
Guy.
Yo, what up?
My guy with that deep voice and the greatest questions of all time.
Oh, man. I try. But my question is, in preparation for InvestFest, with me being so young and not really being established in like a specific field, how do I go about bringing value to established professionals at InvestFest?
Can I answer that question, Ian? I'll let you. So one of the things, that's a great question, is like networking. People are afraid to network up. I spoke about this on my call on Saturday. Shout out to Ian for jumping on the call with me on EY University. A lot of time we're comfortable speaking to the people like next to us, but we're not comfortable speaking to the people like up. And one of the reasons why we're not comfortable networking up is that we don't feel like we can add value, right? It's like, okay, this person is successful. This person has a lot of money. I'm on to come up. I can't offer this person any value. That's not necessarily true, because there's a variety of different things that you might be able to do for somebody that you don't realize. So one thing is connections. So you'd be surprised, like there's always at least one person, especially locally. That's why it's important to make sure you network with the people locally. You might have a relationship with somebody who, you grew up, they're your teacher or your godfather or whatever, and they might be a good person for that person to meet. So you might be 18, 19 years old with no money. The person you try and network with might be 50 with millions of dollars. Now, your godfather might be, a CPA that's really, really dope and deals at high level, right? You might be able to connect the CPA with the person. So it's not like you're not connected, but now you're the manager of that relationship. So you've added value by connecting it. That's one way. Another way is to like what Ian does all the time is to say, like, how can I help? That's the first thing that you should actually ask somebody, as opposed most people ask, like, can you help me? Like they'll hit you in the DM like, Ian, can I get a scholarship? Can I do this? Can I do that? That's really more of a form of charity, and you can only do so much charity in a day. But when you say, how can I be of help? That changes the whole dynamic. So that's another thing. And then also listen. This is extremely important when you're in networking events. If you come into InvestFest and you're around people, you cannot network by talking only. The best way to network is to listen, because if you're only talking, you're not listening to what the person is saying, and you're not going to know how you can be of value. So introduce yourself to somebody, ask them what they do, like interview them, right? People love to talk about themselves. As they're talking and they're explaining their situation to you, then you should be brainstorming on how you can help them. Focus on value. I say this all the time, but the person that really comes to mind in doing this is MG, the mortgage guy, my brother Matt. Matt met me. He never asked me for anything. For over a year, our relationship was based on, how can I help you? He was focused on helping me. In return, we have a relationship. He did the same thing with DJ Envy. He reached out to DJ Envy and said, I want to be a sponsor on your tour. He didn't ask them to be on a tour. He said, how can I be a sponsor? Send me an invoice. Yeah. He paid money to be a sponsor. He developed a relationship. Then he started speaking. Now they got a really good relationship, right? So these are things of like, how
he does it with everybody. I'm going to cut you off. This, like, even when I was out there, he was like, yo, I would have picked you up and took you to the barbershop. And I'm going to take you to this piece. I'm like, bro, you don't have to do all, you got a family. Like, Matt does that with, like, when we went to Atlanta, me and Xander came in late. His wife flagged me down, just talk, like, giving first helps. So that's why Matt be like, yo, I need anything. Even when, if I be tripping, like, Matt's one of the few people, he'll be like, yo, B, you tripping. Like, you need to, I'm all right. Because I know he's coming from a place of love. Like, if you just help first, a lot, we do it here. This is why, to be real, this is why I give the picks out for free. You guys be like, oh, Stock Club costs too much. Stock Club, put yes in chat if I've mentioned the same ones in Stock Club and our prices. Let me pay it forward. If I give it for free, you don't value it, you won't execute. That's on you. They know that shit fire. You have to give first. Give first.
With no expectation.
Yes.
That's another thing. Don't give with an expectation, because you don't know how you'll be rewarded. It's not up to you. It's not up to you to receive the reward. It's up to you just to give. And then, the law of reciprocity, it'll come back to you. But that's a major key in networking.
Jerry, I think you established, I mean, we talked about it on the last club call. I think you just have to pick. I think you have to fearlessly pick what field you want to go to and don't care what anyone else will say. But I wrote some stuff down for you. I need you to pick 5 people that are going to be there and decide what you can do for them and go up to them and tell them. For everyone else, take 3 ideas that you can do for someone and do it for them and present it. So like the thing he said about, even I'm surprised at the number of you who don't even ask me, hey, can I work with you? And you have a skill set. A lot of it is just, even with Market Mondays, I saw Rashad put a post. He's like, yo, I'm thinking about doing other. I was like, yo, hey, before anybody else get it. Because my thing was like, shit, I thought Trap was already going to do something. So I'm like, but you have to ask. Great. I'm like, let me do my part. I'll do the presentations. You don't have to do nothing. Just you and Troy show up, be happy. I'll be grumpy and get us fired. Perfect marriage, right? Pick 3 ideas that you can do for people and execute them. And then most importantly, I talked about this on a call Saturday, be reliable. It may take a while for it to click, but if you are an app developer, a designer, shout out to Burke, like this thing I asked Saturday, there's not been one time when I've asked Burke to do a flyer, a graphic that he has not delivered. And he's working on like Netflix and like the Kim Kardashian poster that you see on Netflix. He made that. I'll be like, yo, can you make this flyer? It'd be 2:00 in the morning. I can get it to you in 2 hours. Send him the money. He'll send the money back. I'm like, no. Like his reliability is the reason why he keeps being able to work with all these brands. So like, kudos to him. Like reliability is so key. But if you pick 3 ideas that you can do for a person, and if I was really trying to get on, if it was me, I would go to every speaker, or I would have an idea for me, Rashad, Troy, Trap, 19 Keys, Neo, Jagged Edge, everybody there, and give it to him. Hey, brother, here's an envelope. These 3 things you need to do, and I already did them. Go to the site, download it, and have your team put them in place. Somebody's going to call you back and give you more work. But got to get first.
Never discount the value of in-person experience. I talk about Matt all the time, but another person I talk about all the time is Wall Street Trapper, because it's ironic. 2 years ago, the other day, I put a post up yesterday. I met him 2 years ago in Houston. Wall Street Trapper. That's a perfect example. He came up to me. He flew in from New Orleans to Houston, met us at a networking event that we had in Houston, and introduced himself to me, hand to hand, face to face.
Yeah.
And the rest is history. His life has never been the same since. That's a fact.
Yeah. And if you have good energy like he does, it's hard to be around Trap and be mad and also not be inspired.
Yeah.
Like, even when we was in Tulsa, like you guys see, I'll be embracing Trap like we just won game 6. Because he was so solid. When I came on the platform, he never was funny. Bro, post this amount of times per day, get this book. These are the traps you're going to go into. You're going to get hate around this time. When you get to 20,000 followers, you got to deal with, like, he gave me a roadmap. That's why I'm like, Trap, and I'll be begging him still. Like, bro, you should come on every month. Nah, bro, I'm good. I'm like, why not? I want you to be on here. Give first. I'm telling you, that is the core of, for all of you, if you're making less than $200,000 or $300,000 a year in your business, or you're less than $1 million per year gross in your business, I guarantee you're not reaching out to 1,000 people per year to ask them to do something for free. That is where I'm just doing it at scale. You got to take all the criticism that comes with it, because even when I was like, yo, 63 days, he don't know nothing about crypto. Mike Novogratz came on the staff. Give first. If I made you money, put yes in chat, and you're not a stock club. Watch this. The value chain. How many episodes y'all put out of EYL before, like up to this moment?
EYL?
Yeah.
Right now, 147, 46.
So the entire network in aggregate probably has 500 episodes?
Yeah. Probably, yeah.
That's the equation. Give.
Yeah. All free. And the last thing I'll say about that, once again, the face-to-face is nothing like this face-to-face interaction.
Yes.
One of the things that really helped us, the first celebrity interview that we did was with DJ Envy. And, DJ Envy, we had been in communications with him through Matt, and he said he was going to do it. But you know how that go. Like, it's kind of like tough. You got to catch people in traffic. So shout out to the good folks at Dykeman. They had opened up a new Foot Locker, and we knew that he was DJing. and I couldn't make it. And I told Troy, like, yo, Troy, you gotta go, man. You gotta meet him.
Yeah.
Long story short, Troy went to Foot Locker uptown, met him.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, oh, yeah, I want to do the show. And a week later, we got the interview done. Rest is history. So,
and honestly, that's one thing I learned from you guys too, because I mean, when COVID first hit, I was scared. I'm like, I ain't going outside. But when we did the Atlanta meetup, like the reception was so crazy. I was like, damn, like I really had it. That's why I took so much time to talk to every person. I think we was in there like 4 hours. Like I didn't even get to talk to you and Troy until like an hour and a half once I was there. But that in-person time you cannot replace with online activity. I don't care how many funnels you have, how many webinars you run. Like people, I'm gonna be real. For those of you that met me in Atlanta, if you had doubts about me after you met me, you like, nah, he living that shit he talk. There's something when you can feel a person's spirit, and shout out to like the young boys who was there, who was like into trading and investing, and they were like going down that rabbit hole. I'm like, man, I wish I was there at 23. Like people want to feel your energy to see if you. It's one of the things like when first time I met Jeezy, first time I met Gary Vee, like you can tell that they're living it. Like if you're from a certain environment, when people are faking the verse, even like when we first did episode 70, he's like, yeah, I see you got the suit on, but like once we got into the content, shout out to the guy who came in with the records trades.
Spike Lee.
Anyway, but it's one thing for people to talk, because everyone puts on a show a best version of themselves, but like, are you talking about it and living it day in and day out? People need to, and that spirit or sense of like discernment that people have, they need to be able to feel you. So you may have a good idea, but they may not believe you. But if they get around you, they may have a different feeling about you, especially for those of you who come from a certain walk of life that can read people very well. That may make all the difference for you. So